Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood. Today we'll be learning all about Mercury, the closest planet to the Sun. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. Given that Mercury orbits right next to our solar system's giant furnace, the Sun, it seems logical to assume that it would be the hottest planet of them all. After all, closer to the fire means more heat, right? What do you think? Is Mercury, in fact, the hottest planet in our solar system? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is perihelion. Perihelion. Perihelion is the point in the orbit of a planet, asteroid, or comet at which it is closest to the Sun. Every orbiting body has a perihelion because orbits aren't perfect circles. They're elliptical or slightly oval shaped. This means that sometimes a planet is a little closer to the Sun and sometimes it's a little farther away. The point of closest approach is the perihelion, and the point where it's farthest away is called the aphelion. The word perihelion comes from Greek. The prefix peri means near or around, which we see in words like perimeter. The second part of the word, helion, refers to Helios, the Greek god of the sun. So perihelion means near the sun. For Mercury, its distance from the sun at perihelion is about 29 million miles, or 47 million kilometers, while its farthest point, or aphelion, is about 43 million miles, or 70 million kilometers away. This difference makes Mercury's orbit one of our most eccentric or non-circular in our solar system. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about Mercury. Number 1. On Mercury, a single day can actually take about 2 years. This can be a little hard to wrap your brain around, but it's true because of the unique way that Mercury spins and orbits. Also, part of the confusion is because there are actually 2 different ways to measure a day. So let's start by defining a year and a day. A year on Mercury is quick. It takes about 88 Earth days to orbit the Sun. Now, the first type of day is a sidereal day. That's the time it takes for Mercury to spin once on its axis. It takes about 59 Earth days for Mercury to complete one rotation. But that's not the day we would actually experience if we were standing there. For that, let's think of what we call a solar day, or the amount of time it would take for us to see the sun go from one position to the other, sunrise to sunrise, as you would observe it standing on the planet. The day we would experience from one sunrise to the next, a solar day, is actually much longer than that rotational day. This is because of Mercury's fast orbit and slow spin. As Mercury completes its 59-day rotation, it has also traveled a huge distance in its orbit around the sun. Because it has moved so far, the planet has to keep rotating for many more days to catch up and bring the sun back to the same position in the sky. This full sunrise to sunrise cycle takes a whopping 176 Earth days. Compare that to a year on Mercury, which is 88 Earth days to orbit the sun. So a single solar day on Mercury is actually twice as long as its entire year. Number 2. Mercury has the most extreme temperature swings of any planet in our solar system. You might think that because Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, it's always incredibly hot everywhere, but that's actually not the case. During its long day with the sun beating down, the surface temperature can rocket up to 800 degrees Fahrenheit or 430 degrees Celsius. That's more than hot enough to melt metals like zinc and lead, but because Mercury also has almost no atmosphere to trap the heat, the nighttime side of the planet is a whole world apart. Once the sun sets, all of that heat radiates back into outer space. With nothing to hold it in, the temperature plummets dramatically, dropping to a bone chilling negative 290 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 180 degrees Celsius. This means that over the course of a single Mercurian day, the temperature can change by over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit or 600 degrees Celsius. This is the largest temperature difference on any planet, making Mercury a world of fire and ice. Number 3. The planet Mercury is actually shrinking. That's right, the smallest planet in our solar system is getting even smaller over time. This isn't happening because it's losing material into space, but because its insides are cooling down. Mercury has a gigantic iron core that makes up about 85% of the planet's radius. For comparison, Earth's core is only about 55% of its radius. This massive core has been slowly cooling and contracting for billions of years since the planet was first formed. As the iron core cools, it shrinks, and the planet's crust is forced to buckle and wrinkle, a little like a grape shrivels into a raisin as it dries out. This process has created enormous cliffs and long, winding ridges across Mercury's surface called lobate scarps. Some of these cliffs are more than a mile high and hundreds of miles long. By studying images from NASA's Messenger spacecraft, scientists estimate that Mercury's diameter has shrunk by more than 7 miles, or about 11 kilometers, over its lifetime. Number 4. Like a giant comet, Mercury has a tail that streams for millions of miles. When we think of celestial objects with tails, comets are usually the first to come to mind. But it turns out the rocky planet Mercury has a tail of its own. It's not made of ice and dust like a comet's tail, but actually sodium atoms. This tail is completely invisible to the human eye, but can be detected with special instruments. It extends far away from the planet, millions of miles, making it many times larger than the diameter of the planet itself. So, where does this tail come from? Mercury's surface is constantly being bombarded by solar wind, a stream of charged particles from the sun, and tiny micrometeoroids. These impacts are powerful enough to kick up sodium atoms from the planet's rocks and soil high up into its very thin atmosphere, or exosphere. The pressure from sunlight then pushes these glowing sodium atoms away from Mercury, creating a long, faint, yellowish-orange tail that points away from the sun just like a comet's. And our fifth and final fun fact for today: Mercury gets its name from the fastest of the ancient Roman gods, and for good reason. Ancient astronomers who spent countless nights tracking the stars and planets noticed something special about Mercury. As it moved across the night sky, it appeared to zip along much faster than any of the other planets they could see. Because of its swift journey, they decided to name it after their messenger god, Mercury, who was known for his incredible speed, wearing winged sandals and a winged helmet. The reason for Mercury's speed is simple physics. Since it's the closest planet to the sun's gravitational pull on it is incredibly strong. To avoid being pulled into the sun, Mercury has to travel at a blistering pace. It orbits the sun at an average speed of about 105,000 miles per hour, or you might say about 47 kilometers per second. That makes it the fastest orbiting planet in our solar system, a fitting tribute to the speedy deity it's named for. Now for some news you can use. If all these facts have you wanting to see the speedy little planet for yourself, you're in luck. Mercury can be seen from Earth without a telescope, but it takes a bit of timing and know-how. The trick is to look for it during twilight, either just before sunrise or just after sunset. Because its orbit is so close to the sun, from our perspective on Earth, it never strays far from the sun's glare. To spot it, find a location with a clear view of the eastern or western horizon. Just before the sun rises, scan the brightening eastern sky, or just after the sun sets, scan the dimming western sky. Mercury will look like a bright, star-like point of light. Using a stargazing app on your phone can be a huge help, as it can tell you exactly when and where to look. Since it's always close to the horizon, it can be tricky to see, but catching a glimpse of the elusive messenger planet is a rewarding experience for any skywatcher. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked if Mercury's position as the closest planet to the Sun makes it the hottest planet in our solar system. It seems like it should be true, but it's a fallacy. The real winner for the hottest planet in our solar system is Venus. So why isn't it Mercury? While Mercury's daytime temperature is incredibly high, it has almost no atmosphere to trap the heat, as I mentioned earlier. When the sun sets on Mercury, all the heat radiates back into space, causing the temperature to drop hundreds of degrees below freezing. Venus, on the other hand, has an incredibly thick and toxic atmosphere made mostly of carbon dioxide. This dense atmosphere creates a runaway greenhouse effect, acting like a thick blanket that traps the sun's heat. This makes Venus a consistent, scorching 900 degrees Fahrenheit, or 475 degrees Celsius, all over its surface, day and night, making it even hotter than Mercury at its peak. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about Mercury with me today. Be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.